We're ready. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We're going to ratify the agenda. Any changes or additions? Okay.
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Okay, Bernie's gonna. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Agenda has been ratified. We're gonna.
Need a vote.
Oh, we need a vote.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meetings of the last minute, meetings of the last meeting, July 2nd, 2024, whereas we didn't have one last month. Can we get a approval for that? Or is that an approval? Okay.
July seems so long ago. I move to approve the meeting minutes from July 2nd, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, been passed. All opposed? Okay, on to the agenda. Bills for approval. Do we want to go through each one and then approve them all together? Rough Rider Commission, the breakaway stock, $2,625. Consolidated camera install at Motorsports, $135.16. Rough Rider Commission, this looks like a reimbursement for the concert, $12,400. Pump systems, pump replaced in the concession stand, $1,423.60. Napa Auto Part, mower repair, $68.58. West River Electronics, sound system repair, $207.41. Chad's Automotive, Unit 1015 repair AC, $346.11. And so, we keep going, or do we approve those, or are all these bills?
Separate approvals for each. So these are the bills that would have been approved in the August meeting, but they were paid from the July in the August commission meeting. So you're just formally approving those, but they were paid.
Okay, the ones I just read off, they were already paid.
Yep.
Okay, so now we gotta approve them?
Yep, the total of the 17,205.86 is the total for those ones.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we pay the 7 bills listed for a total of $17,205.86 as submitted.
I'd second.
Okay, all approve? Oh, a roll call, because it's money. We'll just go Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Messer,
Aye.
and Courtney's not here, and I vote aye. Motion passes. We're to pay the bills, which are already paid. Now we're gonna go down to County Park Special Project. This is the gutters on the restroom. $1,381. Has this already been paid as well?
It was paid as well,
Okay.
yes.
So I'll just run down these. Are all these already been paid?
Just that one, they'll have to have a motion for just that one, because it's
Okay.
out of a special projects fund.
Okay. Can I get a motion for that?
Make a motion to approve 1381 for the Special Parks Project. for the gutter works.
Okay, we got a motion
I'll second.
and we got a second. We're gonna take a roll call vote. Commissioner White,
Aye?
Commissioner Marsh, Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
and Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. That's passed. We're gonna go down to the county park general. So we're gonna look at, what's the boss office? Is this the box office?
It's,
Boss, it's an
Boss
office
office?
supply.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So $624.96. Should I just read the total amount or go each one individual? GM Pest Control, $215. That was an August service. That's a monthly deal during the summer, I guess. Sprinkler head replaced, $200. Looks like you replaced 5 of them.
Yes.
Pathfinder weed spray, the motor park is $2,465. And then SBMC Community Events Grant for $3,000. What is SBMC? What's the acronym for that?
Sick Bastards Motorcycle Club.
Never mind, my bad. Really? Cool.
so I have one question on the, for Pathfinder, on the weed spraying. What was that?
They just went out and sprayed weeds.
Our own county don't go out there and spray the weeds?
No, we don't have Travis do any of that. He doesn't have time, so he doesn't do any of our park facilities.
I've got a follow-up to that.
Sure.
We talked about this a year ago, where I just think it's, unless the requirement is specialized equipment, it's very frustrating to have me see where our weed department is not out spraying our property. And we talked about it a year ago, we were gonna make great lengths on that. Obviously, we have not done that. I don't know where the disconnect is. I don't know what the rest of the commissioners feel, but this is a no-brainer to me. To say he doesn't have time, I can't buy into that. We bought another piece of equipment to help with this. I'm sorry, this something needs to be done on this part.
I agree, but it really doesn't fall back on Lisa. I mean, it's our
Well-
falls back.
Well, but it does. I mean, there has to be
I mean, if he says
communication. It's got to be communication between, whether in this case it's Lisa and Travis or whatever. Travis goes by the facility all the time. He should be swinging in, and if he knows it's his responsibility, get in there and spray him.
I agree.
So
If he says he
again, I'm
doesn't,
not, I'm just saying there's a disconnect in communication and it's not right.
And I have had those conversations, and I asked him again before they sprayed, and he just said, we just don't have time.
I don't buy into
They
that.
don't have time to spray the county
Well, I know. and
gravel
then-
piles or anything either, so I don't know.
Well, the piles are a little different
what
because
they're
I don't
doing.
know that he has the ability to
equipment.
navigate the piles, but
Could be.
the yard around the piles certainly should be his responsibility, or anything else, our county shops or whatever.
Was this bare ground spraying?
Yes.
No, it's the motor speedway you said.
Yeah, this is the
Oh,
motor
did you-
speed
I thought
round.
you said bare ground. I'm
But
sorry.
it was
Yes, ground.
it was bare ground spraying, I'm
Yes.
assuming. He has a bare ground spraying unit.
This was around the fence line, right, at the,
Everywhere.
The-
The weeds were 2.5 feet tall, and I just couldn't keep up picking them. And the fairgrounds, the same thing. I had the weed blaster come out and spray those because we've just kept asking and asking for people to come out and spray, and I can't get them to spray, and I just can't see spending my time pulling weeds,
Yeah.
but yet it looks shabby if they're not pulled or sprayed, and so, I can't
Well, some of them
technically
could
spray
be-
because
some of
I don't
them
have
could be
a
mowed, but the
license.
fact is, still, the bottom line is he needs to get out there in a timely fashion and get them sprayed.
So he was asked and he said he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with him.
He did the very first year, I think, that I was here, maybe in 2018 or 19, but couldn't keep up with them. I mean, that, it just requires the
So it's
residual.
my understanding, he doesn't start spraying till end of May, right? Because all of his help is college students
Teachers or,
or students, so
I think they're teachers
doesn't
and
get on-
students, yeah.
he can't onboard anybody prior to that. So obviously
But
May,
I don't know.
It's a one-time application for bare ground spraying.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be done until June, July anyway. You're
Well, it
not
could
gonna-
be, for like wormwood and Canada thistle, they could do a fall application that has a residual effect.
Yes.
Works the same, so, yeah, we need to work this out.
And by the end of May, honestly, our weeds, the kochia was way out of control, and they were already foot tall, foot
and
and a
you
half
had
tall when they came.
volunteers out there help weed eating, and I saw that too
Yeah,
when I was
we
out
weed
there.
eat
So is
and
in our,
try and pull
is
'em.
it in our lease with the motor, the Speedway people, that we take care of the grounds?
Yes.
And, you know, starting spraying at the end of May is still late.
It depends, some of
Depends
them,
what you're
yeah.
spraying.
Depends what
That's
you're
true,
spraying,
depends what you're
but,
spraying.
but even then, he could train, he could go to a temp agency, get somebody for a day or
labor.
whatever and train them. It's,
Neil, if I may comment on that, here's the real problem is we could probably spray some of our own weeds, but you gotta be a certified sprayer. We can't even spray Roundup at our own shop.
right, but it's not difficult to get certified. You know, Kirk could do a presentation to these people, in 3 hours, you're certified.
Right.
And it's, actually, you can do the application, it's the purchasing of the chemical that leads to the restriction, so. But, okay, enough said, but let's figure out a way to resolve this.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5 bills totaling in 6504.96.
We got a motion. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
It's been approved. We take a roll call vote. Commissioner White,
Aye?
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion is passed. County Park Special Projects. The sprinkler. Jeremy Rydell sprinkler repair, $8,527. Did he install new?
Yeah, when we did the restroom, then he had to reroute and reinstall that
Oh,
whole side
gotcha,
over there.
gotcha, okay.
And then he had to put in a couple more.
Have you forwarded that bill to me, as an itemized bill?
I
Just-
did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I need to look at that, that seems high, but it's a bill, so.
Would that not have been under the special project?
It is,
It is, it's just a recent bill rather than an
Oh, okay.
archived bill.
yeah.
Snow roof guards for restrooms, all gutter works, $1,281. Black Feather Construction, hydro seeding, restrooms, $4,800. Coling and Coling, 9 final restroom bill, I would assume, $49,009.51. For a total of $63,617.51.
That's their final? Obviously, it says final, but that's their final.
Yes, correct.
All the bathroom issues have been worked out, the plumbing, stalls.
Yep, that's all. The only thing that we have left to deal with are the doors. The paint on the doors is getting taken care of.
I'm wondering if we couldn't do, yeah, we do have an issue on those doors with, they came in with the intent of having a vertical handle, and they ended up doing just a push panel, so there are exposed, you know, I'm just wondering if we couldn't do some kind of a small holdback until that's completed. I don't know where that goes, but we need to get it done, because it is kind of a problem. I think it's a big issue, quite honestly.
And that's the only thing, right? The
Yes.
water pressure, everything's good.
They did,
Everything
we did
flushes
a
as
walkthrough and
should.
did a punch list of any of those, and he took care of absolutely everything. They were just waiting on the doors because they actually have to take the doors off and recoat them. They're for whatever reason, they're not adhering to the doors.
So what's your recommendation
Scratches
there?
off.
To just pay the bill and trust that they're gonna do it, or?
You know, I think you're better off either doing a retainage on there to make sure that there's a reason for them to take care of those.
It's a motivation.
Yeah. And that's, yeah.
I mean, I trust
I
it's gonna
trust
get
Scott's
done.
gonna do it, and I trust
I-
Dave
I-
Netzer's gonna take care of it. However, it's good business to
How many doors?
just make sure. There would be, let's see, 5, 6, 7 doors total.
Hold back $1,000 a door.
No.
7 doors.
Are we allowed to make a motion to do that right here?
Sure.
Okay.
So I would make the motion to pay $42,000 even on that Coling pay final restroom bill. And keep the $7,009.51 back until we have a completion on the project.
Does your motion include paying the other 3 bills above that then as well?
The hydro seeding, correct, I'm sorry. The hydro seeding of $4,800, snow roof guards for $1,281, and this rerouting of the sprinklers for $85.27.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been proposed and seconded to hold back $7,009.51 from the final restroom payment and pay $42,000 plus the other bills above. And we're gonna get a roll call vote on that. Commissioner White,
Aye?
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Who will let them know? Just the check? Or,
Yeah, I will too, or
Okay.
or Commissioner Messer also.
okay.
Conversation
And
with
then,
them.
so if that's the case, do they wait till next month till we vote it in to get paid? On the
Yes.
7,000?
Once,
When it gets
when
done.
when it's
Gotcha.
done, I think we could, and Commissioner White, we could authorize that payment as soon as the doors are done to our satisfaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you add that in the motion?
If that needs to be a motion, I would second that.
Okay, that would be a motion.
So then would we need another roll call vote for that?
Sure.
Okay. So there's been a motion and seconded, and let me see if I get this right, that when they do finish the doors, we will go ahead and write them a check for the balance, $7,000 and $7,009.51.
And Commissioner Messer will approve it. when it's
And
completed.
Commissioner Messer can approve that. Okay. Roll call, Commissioner White.
Aye?
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Oh, we got another bill, this $2,000 one. Central Mechanical, $2,889.40.
And that is for the water hookup to the water service hookup to the restrooms. And that involves running the lines and all of that they did to hook everything up.
And I think this bill is fine. Just a quick question, Lisa, then. If we pay this bill and when we issue the check for the final 7,009, do you have a running total of what that project cost yet, tabulated yet? If you don't have it, don't worry about it,
I
but
think we do, with the exception of.
and he billed us direct for this rather than running it through Coling, correct?
Yes, because Coling had already closed out his project before they got their invoice in, is what he told me. I do not have that number on me for some reason.
Just, if you could send out an email when you get that tabulation done,
Absolutely.
I'd appreciate
Yep,
it.
yep.
Thanks.
So I make a motion to approve Central Mechanical's invoice for $2,889.40.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote, Commissioner White for
Aye.
approval. Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay, this is your county park director's report from Lisa.
So, basically, the only thing I really have to report is that the restrooms are complete. We just have one final thing to do, is to put a sign on there. Commissioner Messer and I talked about having a sign, just restrooms on the side as people walk into the facility, because they still think it's a maintenance building. So that way, our patrons know what they're doing.
Would you put it from the south or the west, east?
It will be on the side where they come in, so it would be on the south
South side.
side. Yeah, I think that would be probably the best. I don't, unless you guys feel like it needs it somewhere
That's
else,
fine.
but I think as they walk in, they'll see that part of it. Most everybody else knows that the restrooms are there, so. And then just, we've got 3 more weekends of pretty full events, and then we'll wrap it up and winterize the facilities. So we're not quite sure what that will entail with this building, but the way it's built, it should be fairly easy to blow it out and get everything winterized properly. So that'll be coming before we know it. We do have an international fair convention, so I don't know if I need to request out-of-state travel for that. It's for the Fair Association is sending, I believe, 6 people to that. The international one is actually in Phoenix this year, the very beginning of December. So if I need to do that, I'll get that prepared for the next meeting and
Yeah, I
and
think
do
you
that.
you probably should, because just
in
working out of
case.
state, making sure workman's comp and
Yep.
HR is aware of.
Okay, I will add that then to the next meeting, so you have all the details of it.
Okay. We don't need any kind of vote on that, so we'll go to old business. 2024 committed funding approval update.
So your list there shows the final events there that we've committed dollars to. So the Bull Team event at 20,000, the motocross and speedway events, 5,000, and then Rough Rider Days, the breakaway of livestock, was approved in your bills for July for reimbursement there, but I just had it there for a official motion on those.
So we need to vote this again?
For these 3, yes, correct. Individual.
these three?
each-
Oh, this is
each
how we-
Individual ones, yep.
Just quick question,
Thanks.
refresh my memory on the motocross speedway 5,000, what's
So
that?
they did a motocross event that we did $2,500 towards, and then they did the Richard Jordan Memorial on the Speedway side for $2,500.
Thanks.
Okay, so do we just approve all 3 together or each individual?
Individually. That's how the auditors prefer it.
So I'd make a motion to approve the Bull Team event for $20,000.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner White,
Aye?
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
and Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
So the motocross and speedways, that's 2 separate events, right?
2 separate ones, but the same entity that put those on, correct.
Okay.
It's Rough Rider Motorsports is the ones putting it on.
Okay, can we get a motion? To approve the 5,000 for the motocross speedway?
And that was in July, correct?
Yes.
Making motion to approve the motocross speedway for $5,000.
A second.
Okay, we're gonna take a roll call vote for the Motocross Speedway 5,000. Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh, Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. On to the Rough Rider Days Breakaway Livestock. 2625.
Make a motion to approve the Rough Rider Days Breakaway Livestock for $2,625.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and it's been seconded. Roll call vote, Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And that's all you'll have for this year. So I'll be actually $8,375 under the budgeted amount for those, so. And then next year, we're changing the process a little bit. We talked about that in our budget session, and we'll have some individual meetings with Bernie and then at least one other person, Karen, or one other person on the board, Courtney or Jason, whoever's available that, excuse me, can talk about these and have the entities come and speak to them, so.
Before we move on to the new business, can we go back to the weed spraying thing real quick?
Sure.
Can we have something for next board meeting that Commissioner Claris, yourself, and Travis has something on those grounds, the fairgrounds, the motor speedway, the county shop possibly being sprayed next year? Can you get together with Travis before then and get back with Commissioner Claris? I know you're gonna talk to him anyway. But I do remember discussing this last year as well, so.
I believe that, I mean, there should be no question. Those grounds will be sprayed by the Stark County Weed Department.
I agree. We can just get a follow-up.
There should be no negotiation about this.
I
Okay.
agree.
So, and that directive, I thought was made, and we will just move forward next year, and hopefully we can get it done. Okay?
Perfect.
So no meeting is necessary, correct?
Thank you.
So we go to new business. Eventplex phasing proposal and fundraising update. Dustin Elkin, SCFA Chairman.
Oh, okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Like I said, I'm Dustin Elkins, Chairman of the Stark County Fair Association. I just wanted to, I guess, come this morning and kind of get the conversation started on the Eventplex meeting. We've had many meetings all over the summer here, trying to kind of get all our I's dotted and T's crossed and make sure we can, move forward with fundraising and a few other things. So I guess just an update on how the fundraising is going so far. We've got $2.7 million committed from 22 separate donors. So far, we've got a few different fundraisers planned to kind of keep that ball rolling. And I guess we kind of like to, propose our layout so we can, get an approval on that and then start, working on the details of sizes of the buildings, things like that. So, let's see here. So this is kind of what we've proposed. We think this type of layout will be easy to phase in as we get funds. I believe this master planning, the phase breakdown, I think you have that sheet there. So the first, of course, we've done the hill leveling. That was done in 2020, and then COVID hit and had a little bit of a delay here, but restrooms, we just got completed, which we've gotten many comments on that, and that's been an awesome addition to the fairgrounds. We hopefully don't have to see another porta potty again, but so then next would be, moving forward with our Eventplex The indoor building, the first part of that, I think the first phase we would like to work toward, and we could probably get done very quickly, is just a covered show warm-up type arena. That would be, just an open covered arena. So we could set up underneath that for the 4-H, be used during the summer as a warm-up arena for rodeos, barrel racings, those types of things. But that would be, a fairly simple project that could, get this kicked off. I think I might click to the next one here just to kind of show you where we want to, our proposal is to set this building and be right north of the arena. So of our current, the Arnie Bannock Arena there, main arena. So we'd set this all to the north, kind of cocked to the northwest a little bit. So the covered arena would be on the north side of that, and then phase 2 would be, the next thing would be an exhibit hall. So that we'd be able to, host primarily starting out with the 4-H static exhibits, so we could get everything moved out to the fairgrounds and in one place. And then, this would be just a larger multi-purpose building that would have many different uses, throughout the year. And then the third phase, we'd get down to offices, a meeting room, so we could have, 4-H meetings, things like that. And then, the fourth part of that phase would be the indoor arena as funding allows.
How big is this? Like, what's the end to end width? I don't need square footage, I just, end to end, how big is the arena?
So the warm-up arena, we were looking at an 80 by 80 and then 16-foot sidewalls, but I think after the 4-H council meeting last night, I think we may want to expand that just a little bit to make sure we can get everything underneath there and meet their needs. So, I guess what we're looking for today is just kind of a, discussion on this general concept of the 3 different parts to the phasing. And then, once that's approved, we want to go out to these different groups, make sure how much square footage do you need? Do you think this will work? Do we need a door here? Do we need a door there? Those types of discussions, but we need that first step of kind of a general approval of the concept, and then we can start moving forward. And, if we could get that step soon, I don't see why we couldn't. We would have the funding right now to put up this covered roof probably this fall yet, or right away next spring, so we can avoid the tent and gorilla hail issue we had this year.
The what?
Well, gorilla. You remember the gorilla hail episode this summer?
That was what it was.
Yeah, we had to move. They made us tear down the tent, so then the 4-H, everything on the drop of a hat had to move to DSU to finish that up, and thanks to them for opening their doors, but we'd sure like to avoid that again if we could.
So the people you visited so far with is the 4-H, have you touched?
Yeah, we had a 4-H council meeting last night, so, basically that group, made a motion to move forward, support a building. Sounds like they're willing to help us do some fundraising, and just get together and have a discussion on, what their needs are, and just make sure we're gonna meet them.
And they approved this one here, right?
No, we didn't discuss that at all.
Oh.
They kind of had a separate layout. And, there was just kind of discussion on, and I think had we had our park board meeting last month, this would probably be a whole different conversation.
So they gave you feedback on space, right? Or what they
Yeah,
were looking-
I didn't get all the details wrote down, but they wanted like at least a 40 by 60 show arena, and then enough room to house the livestock underneath the roof. And, to kind of have it all in one place, but then make sure everything was, movable. So then, once that's done, all the panels can be picked up, moved out of the way, we can use that space for something else, so.
Well, I'm all about the 4-H. Western North Dakota needs it, especially Dickinson. There's as much livestock as around here, we should have a big show here. It should be. I do, however, want to incorporate an indoor arena that's big enough to have equine events as well. 80 by 60 or 80 by 80 wouldn't be big enough.
Yeah, and I think as you get down, you know, as we get through the phases and as funding allows, when we get down to that, you know, the larger indoor arena, we're looking at 150 by 200 arena floor for that larger building.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is my understanding that 4-H, they had met last night at their 4-H council meeting to kind of kick off and discuss possibly moving forward. And there was a process, and it would have been nice if we would have had our August meeting, but they've kind of mapped out a process to bring forward a plan for a standalone 4-H facility out there at the fairgrounds. Okay? Like I said, I mean, what they're proposing and what, you know, like I said, I mean, it's all in kind of conceptual phase right now, but they have not, I mean, they're talking about a much, much larger building, a covered show arena in that 80 by 200 range for the covered show, and like, you know, roughly a 7,000 square foot static exhibit building. Like I said, they are trying to kind of get their ducks in a row before they present, but they had fully committed to the idea of coming to visit with the Fair Association and see how that fits with your plan out there at the fairgrounds, or our plan as a park board. And eventually they would show up here at the park board and possibly propose that. But like I said, they didn't want to put the cart before the horse. And they wanted to get their ducks in a row a little bit before coming to the park board and proposing anything. I said, I don't know how 4-H feels about this.
Yeah.
Are you 4-H?
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck in the middle, yes.
Guess I'm a little lost. Can you explain
I
the
guess-
4-H and
So the 4-H
you-
council, I mean, is made up of the leaders and members of the 4-H.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you're working
Yeah,
with them?
my kids are in 4-H, so I
Right,
attend the
right,
4-H
right.
council
You're
meetings,
working
yes.
with 4-H now, or?
Yep, I guess
not-
their executive committee had met.
Oh,
I'm not sure who was all, I guess I have the minutes back there, who was all included in the meeting. I think you were. But I guess I had no idea they had met until last night.
okay, so
So-
they're wanting a building. You guys are wanting a building. We're wanting a building for equine events. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we all work together?
Well, that's the idea here. I mean, like I said, I don't see how or why it wouldn't be possible to have, you know, obviously, and that was the intent here, was the executive committee from 4-H met, put a plan together. They had not run it past their board, right? And they
Yeah.
brought
I
it to their
gotcha.
board last night to discuss this matter and see if there was some buy-in from all the 4-H people. And
I see.
and they have buy-in that they want to do this. They've got some plans, like I said, but the next step was after they kind of got their board on board, they were going to go to the Fair Association and, you know, propose what they're looking at and see if they could get some, well, not necessarily commitment, but buy-in or approval, excitement about the project. And then if there was some excitement about the project, you know, ultimately end up here at this park board to present something to this board. So that has not, those last two phases have not happened. yet.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah. So one of the directives coming out of the February public meeting that was done, number one was two things. Let's have some conversations because everybody agreed that 4-H was critical. I've said it before, part of our DNA. We need to be extremely supportive of that. The disconnect is we're not having those conversations. I see this, what you sent out in the packet, and what 4-H is working on. I already see a potential conflict on what their vision is and what
Yeah.
you're involved in it, Dustin. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for being here today. So I see this conflict, and the message I get is that they're willing to. And the part of the testimony that day was the kind of proposal that was made in February, and it looks like it's morphed a little bit, was that it didn't fit the vast majority of the 4-H events. And so they've come and said, okay, here is something conceptually that would work for the vast majority of the events. And now we're sitting here, well, today's September, so we're sitting here 7 months later and really haven't made much progress on this. And that's unfortunate. But we need to figure this out again and have these conversations. And everything I've heard is that, you know, when you do these things where you try to set up and whatever, if they want their own livestock building, you know, then we should engage with them. You know, they need to do fundraising and all this kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, let's do this sooner rather than later, so everybody's singing off the same
What-
sheet of music.
What do we need to do to have the 4-H, your group, attend this meeting and have the same plan together? So that we're.
Yeah, I
everybody's
guess
on
I
the
had
same
no idea
page.
anything was going on until last night, so
Okay.
that's 10 hours ago. I was like, oh, okay.
It's hard to approve this. I mean.
Yep.
I mean, we made a motion for, you know, to improve, that property out there and to make it all inclusive, for everybody. And, you know, for the last 2 years, we've had several conversations on it. We've, the 4-H has, been brought up several times. We had a special meeting over across town, on this facility as well. And, but I think, you know, the 4-H keeps being brought up over and over and over. And it would be great to have them and the park board, if it's gonna be a joint use facility, have a concept put together and everybody agrees upon it. It makes it a lot easier for us too. So, but by hearing that, you know, maybe they want a much larger facility, I mean, or we're not on the same page. So, here we are talking about it again and nothing's been conclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, we went down the road of figuring out, I mean, I think there was some buy-in here from this board and from the county commission to go forward on your events plex, which was, you know, but I think the broader discussion needs to be had whether or not, you know, we want to consider having separate facilities.
If you were at the meeting, you know what they want,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So what do they want?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, they are in that preliminary planning phase. You know, they want a show ring. It's, you know, roughly an 80 by 200 actual, that's the covered portion, and they have, there's some lean-to with stalling and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the static exhibit building, which you actually have in your plan as well, which is great. But, I mean, I think there's been some discussion that, albeit, I mean, real world, whether or not the two events and livestock and horses and equine can actually be mixed effectively here. And so, I mean, like I said, I mean, there would have to be obviously some buy-in from this board, whether or not we want to go down the path of, you know, placing. We've already kind of agreed in some way, the events plex, we're moving forward there, right? But is there some,
I mean, it
is
comes
there
back
some
to,
interest in this board to possibly go down the path of a standalone 4-H?
and that's the only use it would have is 4-H.
Well, no, I think there's a lot of possibilities, and Jason can probably add to that. I mean, I think there's, I mean, it's 4-H, and, I mean, ultimately, this fairgrounds, the big plan here is county fair.
Everybody.
It's the county fair.
Yes.
That is,
Yeah.
that is the main thing here, and so 4-H could be, is an addition. I mean, we're, you know, to get to that point where we're actually having that traditional county fair, I mean, literally, the Slope County Fair.
I agree with you.
So
We've had
does,
that.
does the
Okay,
Yeah.
and so to get that where you have all the 4-H and everybody out there at the same time, and, you know, and you have this county fair, so this 4-H component is a really big part of it. And so we'd like to, you know, actually, you know, work towards that. But,
But, so here's, we get back to Commissioner Messer's comment earlier, it all revolves around communication.
agreed.
So the communication got lost somewhere between Dustin and their people, you know? And so now he's up here making a presentation that really, what basis, there's nothing to it. I mean, he's making a presentation that means nothing at this point because they did not communicate to him what they need.
Yeah, but I think it's a two-way street on communication. We have to, whether it's the fair board or whatever it is, there has to be the reach out and conversation both directions. There has to be trust in the conversation. I think there's
Trust is a
some
big
of,
part
some
of
of that is missing. But, you know, I just sat in on a county commission association meeting last week where NDSU, on a number of events, there's over 42,000 events or individuals participating in 4-H activities in our state. That's a huge, huge number. Over almost 25% of our youth are doing that. We need to
Great.
respond. We need to do something for them. And if they can figure out a way where we participate and they do some of their fundraising and we can figure out where to put it and it works, then we need to support it. But yeah, we need to have a meeting sooner rather than later and put some leadership in the room where this conversation moves. It's very frustrating.
We did not have our August meeting, and on the agenda for the August meeting was, we were to have a discussion about initially master plan. Okay? Where do they fit?
That is a question, that's a question that we have to
You know,
answer.
I mean, and we have to have some
Absolutely.
order out there, you know, and where do they fit in the whole idea out there? And of course, we didn't have that meeting, but now here we are today.
So, do we know for sure or not if they want a standalone facility?
That's been decided. I mean, this is a want, or this is a wish
Yeah.
for them,
Well,
okay?
they need an indoor facility, right?
What
We're not
they're,
arguing
no,
that
they're
point.
not, they don't really necessarily need it. Well, they need a static exhibit building, yes, but they just want.
They need an
for-
indoor facility. I
For a
mean,
show arena.
when you take cows to a show and you're dressing them up and everything, you need an indoor facility. Yeah, like a covered is okay, but you need an indoor facility. I mean, to have big shows, it's a must. There's just no way around it. You got chickens and rabbits, and you got hundreds of different animals. I mean, we've all been to fairs, and so that's the type of vision I envision for the 4-H is having a big building that we house everything in, and
there's some
once, twice a year they have big shows here. This is
There's
Western North Dakota. This is where it should be.
There's examples out there in other counties in our state where they have these show pavilions. I mean,
Yeah.
Stutzman County, for instance,
Yeah.
and it's not enclosed.
Yeah.
It's a covered
Yeah.
pavilion. So going back towards the other uses, I mean, they talk about junior point shows and incorporating FFA, which is also another, you know, fairly vibrant community here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, you know, that can be done on the agricultural, livestock side of things here with these type of buildings.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, the static exhibit building, you know, that could be used for many things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, and I think,
This is just a need. It's a need. A facility, it's got to incorporate everything, though. In my mind, you got to incorporate the equine, because I think both of them are centerpieces to this whole fair. It's a centerpiece. So
But there's-
why can't we get together and build a facility?
There is some idea, coming from 4-H, that the mixed use is just not optimum.
What is one of the arguments?
The surface between the equine and showing of livestock.
It's dirt.
Well, is it dirt? I mean, it sounds like the equine dirt's pretty protected. I mean, apparently there is, I mean, are we okay with putting wood chips and straw and whatever on that
yeah, and I
surface?
Oh,
think that's
yeah.
been brought up numerous times, and I believe there are other facilities that, like you said, it's, you know, the pretty sacred dirt.
Yep.
But, I mean, here, we've done it in the main arena numerous times. I see no reason why we can't pack the arena
Yeah.
as long as we clean up. I mean, if there's 2 pieces of hay left at the end of it, no big deal.
We have
You know, I
demolition
mean-
derbies. I mean, like,
That is exactly the conversation we had.
That's
We're
it.
picking car parts out of the arena for half the year, so
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah,
some wood to.
that's, I
yeah,
think we can absolutely agree
make,
on
make
that.
that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any reason. So I guess I would ask this board, I mean, as far as just a general concept of layout, are there any comments on where this sits? The phasing ideas, anything like that, so we can take that back to a meeting with the 4-H council and,
I think where it sits out location-wise is good. I mean, it's sort of, you know,
yeah, it doesn't really get in the way of roads.
no,
It's-
and it sort of centralizes, you know,
And I like, you know, I like the concept. You said the arena size is about 80 by 80, but it might be bigger.
Yeah.
So I do like the concept, having the exhibit hall, the little cover show
Yes.
warm up. So I have no questions or disagreements on it.
I would reserve any comment on it until we hear from 4-H.
Yeah, yeah, ditto.
Now, do you want them to
I
come
agree.
here, or how do you want?
Yeah, so how-
The Fair Board, how do you
Well,
want that?
we've
How
talked
do you want that
about.
communication to
we-
happen?
We've discussed this, previous meetings, that there were supposed to be some stakeholder meetings here.
Yeah.
And
And I mean-
we just need to get, I think, the Fair Association, and that is the plan, that they were gonna come to you formally and have a visit
Mm-hmm.
and try to lay out and have an open discussion with the Fair Association, because you need to be involved here, and because, I mean, the 4-H buildings, this is gonna be facilities that are gonna be managed by the Fair Association for all those months outside of August or whenever we have the county fair. So, I mean, the Fair Association needs to be involved, and they fully intend to come see you and meet with you, and you guys need to discuss the logistics of how this all works, or if it doesn't.
And I agree that they should meet with the Fair Association, but when it comes time to present here, should they be presenting their idea, or should the Fair Association, because all of a sudden you're missing a point in the communication. You have a third person in the middle, so they need to be somewhat,
I think they need to come and present their idea. I mean, they should come here with full confidence that the Fair Association think this is a good idea, right? That would be
Well, that's
great. To have some momentum coming in here, and then come present, to us as a park board, and we can decide whether or not it's a good idea. And then ultimately, it's gonna get to the county commission if there's gonna be any funding asked,
So can I make a motion then?
Yes.
To have the Fair Association 4-H get together and come back before the November Park Board meeting here? So we hear something and we have something finalized before the December meeting.
or October.
October.
Yeah, why not October?
I'm fine, I was giving a little lenient, so
Yeah.
Does that need to be a motion, or can you just ask the fair board to do
I
it?
mean,
That's a directive motion, I think it's good.
yeah, I think by setting something and making it happen, so we get some.
So who's
feedback.
gonna coordinate this? I mean, if we tell somebody to do it and then everybody says, oh, it's this person's responsibility, this person's responsibility. So let's put some momentum on that.
Well,
I don't know who the contact for the, I mean, 4-H people have talked to me, but I don't know who the quote-unquote leadership spokesmen
What?
are.
Bridget is their president.
Okay.
Bridget Bullinger is their president. We can get in touch with her. Of course, Dustin, you know Bridget.
And you've had some communication there too, where you could probably bridge that gap between getting everybody
Be
together.
more than happy to join those conversations and be a part of it. I'm 100% in agreement that, I mean, it'd be great to further the cause of the county fair here and get this going in the right direction. It seems to me we're about halfway there, right? Or a fourth, yeah, we're just, I mean, it can be so
Like
much
to be
better,
optimistic
but
and
there's
think
some
halfway,
real
but I think we
critical
have to look at
components
what's
missing
worth.
from this whole thing, and 4-H being one of them, so.
Sounds good.
All right, you have a motion? Second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Can you explain that? Like,
to
I don't-
have, you're saying by October, so by our November Park Board meeting, we can vote to go forward. So we'll have the 4-H, the Fair Association get together, Paul, Commissioner Claris, and by October, do we want to have it by
I
October?
would like it by October.
I would too.
Okay, so by the October, what is the meeting? in
First.
Is it October 1st? So October 1st, and then for this Park Board meeting.
Yeah, and hopefully we can have some specs or something. This is what we
It's something
need.
that everybody agrees
Yep.
about.
It just needs, we need to get to a general consensus that we can play nice together here and
Yes.
get this done.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't
then
think.
we can work out
that-
the details
that
from there.
part's- Yeah. I don't think the playing nice part's gonna be, I mean, everything, since I've been on the Fair Association, anytime we've scheduled anything out there, 4-H has had the, I guess, preference, you'd say.
Good.
You know, so I don't think that's ever been a question, but,
Great.
okay,
I
thank you.
appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
were we voting on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Where we at?
Motorsports Park lease renewal.
Okay, sports park lease renewal. Does Brad want to do it again?
So are you guys
I hope.
skipping the phasing Are you guys?
Fairgrounds
That was
master
your-
plan layout phasing revision.
I think that can be kind of tabled until this
I agree.
other meeting takes place.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
No,
Okay.
Paul had just called me and asked me to put that on to the agenda for
Motor
them, you guys to look
sports
at.
park lease renewal.
Copies of those, the renewal of the lease?
No,
So
no,
it's my understanding this is their last year of leasing that?
correct. It was just to report to you guys that 2026 they will not be renewing their lease. And so we either need to have some discussion about that property, or if we're going
This
to
is the
put it
final
out.
year or next year is the
Next
fi-
year, their lease is up as of after next
They
year,
don't wanna
the
do it anymore?
2025. They will not, correct.
Oh, that stinks. They were doing good.
So either we put out a request for proposals for individuals, or you guys
You want to lower
discuss
their
about-
rent, try to keep them in there another 4
Their
years?
rent was only $50.
You can't
And we
go
were
as
maintaining
negative,
it
I'm
all,
sure.
so it was pretty cheap,
Okay.
pretty cheap
Well,
for them, but.
yeah, I think a discussion needs to be had on the future of that facility. Commissioner Marsh and I have, obviously, Lisa, when we met on the budget meeting, talked about where this could go and to include, I think all things should be on the table, including potentially selling this to a third party. So appreciate the notice, and maybe we do put out a request for a proposal with the understanding that that thing has to be stop being a money drain for us. So whatever that is, I guess.
Should you put that out to Brad first and say, hey,
Well, if he's
we're
given
looking
us-
for, we're looking for some
Well,
ideas?
Well, we did ask him if he would be interested in buying it, and it didn't get a very positive response.
Okay.
So,
All right. So that's tabled then, or we're just, thank you, Brad.
Just some direction, do you
2025
guys want me to do, to prepare a request for proposal? I can bring it
I think so.
to the meeting, the
Absolutely.
next one? Okay, do that.
2025 County Parks Preliminary Budget.
Yep, so you've got a copy of the preliminary budget. As Karen, Richard, myself, Bernie Marsh, and Neil Messer met on the budget, and the numbers that we came up with increases the budget by $11,188.30. And that's just for you guys to look at if you've got questions or have other ideas.
I see the line item, it's interesting, the packet that you sent out and the packet that was delivered here, I mean, I think they're the same here. They are, there's 80,000 proposed for covering the grandstand at the Speedway.
Well, there was multiple things in there, so there was covering of the stalls, a couple of those on there just as part of a discussion, to be able to use those. I have an actual detail that I'm writing for you guys that you'll receive before the September, I think it's 17th meeting, that you guys will see exactly how those funds will be used, and that's why they're plugged in. Originally, before I knew that that was happening, we were gonna look at covering an area out there. But potentially that won't happen if we've got
cross
some
that one off,
changes
yep.
on board.
So you're asking the capital improvements for both the Motorsports Park and the fairgrounds?
yeah, I think she
Yes,
has
for that piece of it.
80,000 in there, and
Yep.
as a side note, she has the two potential expenditures she's looking at.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think one of the other conversations that needs to take place, and Lisa and you and I visited on it quite briefly, would be if in fact we're gonna do more and more fair events out there. They're the ones who are promoting all the items, the functions you have out there on weekends and those kind of things. I think conceptually, we need to look at what does this look like? Should we be transitioning a lot of this into fair board responsibilities rather than park board responsibility? Because You know, and I just conceptually, I have some ideas, but I'd want others to think about it. If we're doing these kind of things, maybe if the Fair Board can, maybe there's a reason a lot of them, you know, are getting off the board or whatever. You know, if there was more things to do, maybe they could step up to the plate. And if that's a conceptual transition, that happens, but I want that to be visited about as well.
Like weed spraying?
No, I'm just saying if there is, Lisa brought 3 events that are gonna be happening in September to it, all sponsored by the Fair Board, but we're funding it through the Park Board, the expenditure part of it. So maybe there should be, you know, a lot of that should be transitioned over to Fair Board, and we could figure out potential funding for that. But it's just, to me, it's like, we have you know, Lisa's our county director, park director, but ends up running all the events sponsored by the Fair Association. So,
Oh, got you, I see.
so what is that connection? Is there a joint powers agreement that allows for that? And would it be more efficient if it was done some way other than, I'm not saying it would be, but I'm just saying we need to think, could it be done more efficiently than the way we're doing it right now? So, and I know we've talked about it, and I don't know if you've given more thought, probably a much bigger and in-depth conversation than we're having this morning, but
Correct, but
I guess that's just my thought.
it's a good start.
So this is a preliminary budget. You'll have some itemized things when we get the real budget, like what the 80,000 will be spent on,
Yep,
different things like that.
exactly, a detail of the budget. I do that every year for you guys
Yeah.
so that you can see.
And then by the next one, we're gonna look at what Commissioner Messer was saying and how your time is spent both ways and how the Fair Board could possibly be more involved. Is that what you're referring?
Well, I mean, on September 17th, we're presenting a preliminary budget to the county commission. So, you know, I don't know if we can make much change after that, but I'm just saying, we need to have those discussions because
Yeah.
right now we're kind of set in a rut on how we do things. We do things the same way all the time, year after year. And if we want to think outside the box a little bit, maybe it would be more efficient, maybe not. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. So.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.